We're back here on CBS Sports HQ. How about an NFC West showdown this weekend? The Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco 49ers, both 2-0 to start this season. Now, ahead of this Week 3 matchup, here's a sportsline impact that this game will have when it comes to winning the division. So a lot at stake here when you look at the numbers. Entering this game, the 49ers with a 43.6% chance of winning the division. Cardinals just with 12.7% with a win that improves for the 49ers, 49.6%. A loss, it drops to 29%. And then, big yikes there for the Cardinals if they do lose this game. Just 6% chance of winning the division. Here's more from both quarterbacks for 49ers.
Is there any difference in knowing you're going to start like last week as opposed to this week? Well, I might start.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, as a backup, you know you're not playing the first snap, and as a starter, you are. So you got to be ready for both. And at the end of the day, all the externals don't really matter. You just have to focus on the game plan and getting everything tidied up by Sunday. And that's what I'm doing, just like a normal week for me, and following my schedule and being ready to play if my number's called.
I feel like I'm happy with the progress that I've been making with my foot and toe, and so more than anything, it's just going to be a day-to-day thing on how I feel. Nothing really more to that. So.
Would you play this weekend, or do you still need to wait and see how it feels in a day or two?
Definitely just got to see, come game time, how I feel. It's not obviously I want to play every game, dude. Like I want to be out there. We only get 17 regular season games, and every game matters, especially a divisional. Going against Cardinals. So if you ask me, I'd love to, but I'm trying to be smart with my body here, but you never know. We'll see when the game comes.
For more on this NFC West showdown, let's welcome back Breech and Ryan Wilson. Guys, you just heard from both Niner quarterbacks. We're unsure at this point if it'll be Mac Jones or Brock Purdy to get the start, as Purdy's still dealing with a few injuries. Considering the magnitude of this matchup in terms of the division race, John, where are you at right now with what quarterback is the right decision here?
Jordan, for me, this is an absolute no-brainer. I start Mac Jones. And Ryan Wilson did not pay me to say that. He is the president of the Mac Jones fan club, so we know what his answer is. But we just heard Brock Purdy talk there and talking about how, hey, look, if I feel good Sunday, maybe there's a chance I'll play. Somebody just needs to tell Brock Purdy that the NFL season is a marathon. It's not a sprint. He's dealing with a toe injury. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. If he goes out and plays against the Cardinals and aggravates either of those injuries or makes them worse, and now you're out 3, 4, 5 weeks, that hurts the team. And so I think the 49ers are afforded the luxury of being able to play Mac Jones because they're 2-0. So now you've built a little bit of margin of error in there. And the other thing is you got to look at the schedule if you're San Francisco. You have Arizona this week, which is obviously a huge game. You give Mac Jones that one. Jacksonville in week 4, a little Mac Jones revenge game. But then week 5, that's the game I'm circling if I'm Brock Purdy. That's a Thursday night game against the Rams. That's the game you definitely want to be on the field for. And you play that, you get a 10-day break, so plenty of time to heal if you wait until week 5 to come back. So if I'm the 49ers, I roll with Mac Jones in week 3 and week 4, go to Brock Purdy in week 5.
Breech, you know what else is a marathon besides the NFL season? Being president of the Mac Jones fan club. By the way, producer Boney is the vice president, so there are 2 of us on that bus right now. But people are jumping on board, guys, because of the way he played last week. And I would just reiterate what I say countless times when you talk about the quarterbacks coming into the draft from college. Fit matters. You can be really good on a Patriots team when Josh McDaniels is the OC. You can be truly terrible if you're Patrick Mahomes and traded to the Patriots and Matt Patricia's dialing up plays for you. So fit matters. Confidence matters. All these guys are 4 or 5 stars coming out of college. Mac Jones won a national title. He was slinging it. He was the 15th overall pick in that draft class. Both Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle said publicly that there was no secret. They preferred Mac as their quarterback to Tua, and Tua was a top 10 pick. So I think what we're seeing here is a perfect fit for the type of game that Mac Jones plays. Kyle Shanahan has a ton of confidence. He said that publicly. Trent Williams said after the game and before before the game that he had a ton of confidence based on what he had seen from Mac during the preseason, and that played itself out on the road in New Orleans without all the best players. Brandon Ayuk's still out, of course. George Kittle was out with that injury. So it was Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall's playing really well. So I think Breech's point is the right one. There is no rush to get your quarterback out there in Brock Purdy if he is not ready, because you do have a competent backup plan. And I think it speaks to the importance of having a really good backup, which not every team can afford to do because of salary cap or whatever. So I think Mac Jones makes the most sense. And I'm not just saying that as the president of the fan club, Jordan.
All right, we'll take that with a grain of salt. Kyle Shanahan will be speaking to the media later on today, so we should get an answer on who will be starting for the 49ers. We will bring you that conference here on CBS Sports HQ. Regardless, you guys, of course, the Cardinals will have to prepare for both quarterbacks, but you alluded to it, Ryan. Some of them have their preference. Calais Campbell with a little bulletin board material this week saying he'd rather face Mac Jones. Here's a quote. He did add that it's not a shot because Mac is a first-round talent. He just hasn't been in this offense a long time. And with Brock, he's a master of this 49ers offense, and he can make it go. I don't know if he's wrong here, you guys. And, you know, Ryan, you did reference he's coming off the win over the Saints, but when you look at the stats, Mac Jones 0-7 in his last 7 starts after a win. So, Ryan, I don't know. Opposing teams love to see it.
Yeah, that's not a great stat. You don't want to bring that into your negotiations for a new contract. I'll just blame that on Matt Patricia. How about that?
All right.
The other thing is, and Calais isn't wrong. Calais Campbell isn't one to give out bulletin board material. Matt Jones has not been in that offense in a while, but he's incredibly cerebral. He understands concepts as the head coach Kyle Shanahan wants them to be played out. And one of the reasons they didn't draft Mac back in 2021 when they traded up from 12 to 3 is they felt like the quarterback position was getting more athletic, which it obviously is. We see that with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And Trey Lance was perhaps the vision they were hoping that their quarterback would look like. Now it looks more like Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, as it turns out. But Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant or not, runs that offense as well as anyone could. And I think that's why Kyle Shanahan trusts him so much. They're both not top-end athletes. Brock's a little bit better athlete than Mac is, but they both have average arms, but they can both make every throw in this Kyle Shanahan system. So I think Calais Campbell is right. And if you pressure Mac, you can see the results in the form of turnovers, but so far so good, and I feel pretty good about the offensive line with Trent Williams and the way the playmakers have played for Mac, including that run game in the one game we saw last week.
Yeah, and Calais Campbell is a smart veteran. He knows what he's doing here. Brock Purdy, he's in his 4th season running this Kyle Shanahan offense. He's been to 2 NFC title games and a Super Bowl. He understands all the nuances of the offense. So, of course, I think if you're the opposing defense, you don't want to see Brock Purdy, and good for Calais Campbell for being honest about this instead of just kind of saying, yeah, I don't care who we see, it doesn't matter. No, he actually has the preference here, but I also feel like this is a situation of be careful what you wish for, because there's a reason Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones all those years ago, because he felt like he's a guy who could efficiently run the offense, and we saw him do it against the Saints, and I think he could look even better against the Cardinals if he gets the chance to start.
San Fran will need some solid quarterback play from whoever gets the start, but also a little spark, please, from this 49ers rushing attack that currently is bottom 10 in the league. McCaffrey, we've seen him with some touches, but he hasn't really been effective. And to really put it into perspective, you guys, McCaffrey and Mac Jones right now both have the team's longest rush this season, a whopping 13 yards. John, how worried are you for them this weekend facing a top 10 run defense?
We're only 2 weeks in the season, so I'm not completely worried yet. When you look at the 49ers week 1 game against the Seahawks, they rushed for over 100 yards. They did okay. Last week against the Saints, they didn't. They were held under 80 yards, but the upside there was that Christian McCaffrey kind of showed flashes of what we saw 2 years ago, because he averaged over 4 yards a carry against the Saints, and that's exactly what you want to see out of McCaffrey. If you're getting 4 yards a carry and he's catching 5 to 8 passes out of the backfield, I think you're going to be comfortable with the numbers he's going to produce. So it's a slow start to the season, and I think eventually this offense will look a lot better. And then one other thing is, the Cardinals have a top 10 rushing defense, but look who they've played. They played the Panthers and the Saints. So I think a lot of people pegged as 2 of possibly the worst teams in the NFL before this season started. So I think this will be their first real test, and we'll see if they can slow McCaffrey down, because that offense seems to get better every week.
Let's get to the Cardinals here, Ryan. Slight underdog in this one on the road. Few things need to happen if they're going to pull off this upset. And getting their star receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr, involved is definitely up there in terms of priority. Guys, among the first-round wide receivers selected last year, he has the lowest targets. He was actually asked this week about being targeted just 11 times in the past 2 weeks. And he said it's a silly conversation and said the most important thing right now is that this Cardinals team is 2-0. Well, Ryan, it's equally, I think, important to get this guy the ball if this team wants to be a contender.
Yeah, that's why you take him top 5. But I think, so you see Malik Neighbors at the top there. Malik Neighbors is the only show in town offensively for the Giants. Rome Odunze's getting more targets this year. Brian Thomas Jr. is coming off that big year last year when he was the only show in town virtually offensively. They have some guy named Trey McBride who plays tight end for the Cardinals. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. He's currently 3rd in receptions with 12 or 13, I believe. Marvin Harrison Jr. has 7 receptions, which ranks 39th among all wide receivers. So you're getting it to one of your playmakers, and perhaps you could provide some balance in terms of getting to your other playmaker, Marvin Harrison Jr. But I think he's right. Look, as long as we're winning, there's nothing to complain about because Kyler Murray's distributing the ball and getting it to the guy that's open. Kyler's actually playing at a pretty high clip as well as in terms of a passer. I would like to see Marvin Harrison get more involved because you don't draft a guy top 5 to not target him. But I do give Kyler credit for going to the player who is open more often. And Trey McBride is certainly taking advantage of that. So this is actually a good problem to have, but we ideally would like to see a little bit more balance in terms of the pass distribution.
All right, we'll see if we get to see that on Sunday. Coming right back to you here, Ryan. Let's get a game pick from you.
Come on. You know, McCorkle Jones all day long, and if he's on the bench holding the clipboard,
Silly
Brock Purdy.
question.
I'm going with the 49ers.
Silly question.
I'm on the same page as Ryan. 49ers 2016, but I will say it feels like a tough game to predict because we don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be for the 49ers. And the Cardinals' 2 wins are against 2 teams that have a combined 0 victories this year. So we don't know how real they are, but we're going to find out Sunday.
All right, we definitely will. Sportsline projection, by the way, you guys, has it that the Niners will win 27-23. Ahead of this game, here's where things are currently and where it stands in the NFC West. The 49ers 2-0, Cardinals also 2-0. This big matchup kicks off at 4:25 Eastern Time on Sunday.